Hey guys, what's up? Cobra Axis and Allies here, bringing to you my first expansion set review from historicalboardgaming.com. Now, this isn't going to be a standard review because I'm going to be teaching you guys how I'm going to be playing with my Croatia at War expansion set. As you can see here, I've got my Croatia at War overlay that fits over my map and everything, and here we have some of the markers that come with it. Basically, this is what you get here. These guys, I'll show you about later, but you don't get those in the set. So, what you get is this overlay here, 3 SS markers, 3 Mountain SS markers, 3 partisan, or Yugoslavian partisan markers, a Chetnik marker, and a militia marker. So, basically, how this would usually work is after Yugoslavia would fall, you would put this overlay over the map, and then you would play with this on. But in this little video, I'm going to show you guys how to play it by keeping this overlay on the whole entire game, and how to kind of like spice up your game and make it a little more intriguing and fun. So basically, first up, what you're going to want to, I'm going to set this up like it would be at the beginning of the game. So I'll see you guys then. Okay guys, so I've got it now set up in a kind of what you might see it Yugoslavia look like in 1940 right now. So as you can see, Germany would have annexed all these territories here, and Italy probably has Albania by now. But as you can see, Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia are all still Yugoslavian possessed. And as you can see too, there has been some changes to the military. They still have their torpedo boat destroyer, but they've got some additions like this motorized infantry. Yeah, so basically, it's going to be a lot harder for Germany and Italy to take this over, and I will basically represent that in a little bit. But yeah, so basically just Yugoslavia, everything's the same except for the fact that now they have a few more units and a couple more territories, but it's still all worth 3. Everything's basically the same. So I'm going to show you guys what happens now in this setup when Yugoslavia falls. So first up, let me grab some German units and we'll get this started. So now that I've got some German units set up and prepped for the invasion of Yugoslavia, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on how the invasion went down. Now, Yugoslavia was made up of a bunch of different ethnic states, and so once they, which were really divided during the war, and right before the invasion happened, a big military coup happened, and they overthrew the old king. So there was a lot of political division between the different peoples that lived in Yugoslavia, and one of the main ones was Croatia. And they ended up mutinying from the actual army during the invasion to join the German side. So basically, how this works is, when Germany decides to declare war on Yugoslavia, they announce it to everyone as they would, but they're going to roll a D12. Now, the D12 represents the diplomatic talks between them and Croatia, and the possibility of Croatia leaving the Yugoslavian Union. And so basically what's going to happen is, if they roll the D12 and they get anything, if they get a 12, then everything happens the same, and basically Germany declares war on Yugoslavia and tries to invade it, and that's that. And basically the expansion doesn't really get used at that point, just there's more territories to take over in Yugoslavia. But if Germany gets anything other than 12, the Croatian army mutinies from Yugoslavia proper. So in that event, you're going to take off before the invasion these Croatian soldiers, and Croatia will now go to German control. And so basically what's going to happen is, I've just got this Croatian roundel I'm going to put on, which this just represents a German unit. And as it says in the Croatia at War setup, you place a Croatian militia down, a Croatian infantry, and a Croatian mountain infantry. And basically the mountain infantry is an elite unit, and yeah, so basically that's what happens when Croatia ends up mutinying against Yugoslavia. And as you can see too, Yugoslavia has been split up, and it's going to be a lot harder to defend the nation. So in this event, though, Croatia, this is all supposed to be happening simultaneously. So Croatia, the units that Germany obtains this before they conduct combat, aren't going to be able to be used for combat. So they can move them in non-combat, but right now they just have to sit there and wait. So let's just say the invasion kicks off, and this tank destroyer brigade takes over Slovenia right here. And then for for Serbia, which contains the capital Belgrade, these two German units knock out these Yugoslavian soldiers. And I'm just going to use this roundel here. They take Belgrade. So now Yugoslavia has been completely conquered by the Germans, and again, these Croatian soldiers are under German control, and the money goes to Germany. So, as for the Yugoslavian torpedo boat destroyer, now, in the version 2 rules, if a neutral capital was taken in the first round of combat, or not first round of combat, but was taken, then their naval units would get to roll. And basically they would have a 3-in-1 chance of going to the Allies, a 3-in-1 chance of going to the conquering nation, and a third of a chance of being scuttled and destroyed. Now, I've adapted that for version 3, where it's either they go a 1 to 10 to the Allies, representing them just keeping up their war against the invading nation, and a 10 or 11 to 12, so a smaller chance of it going to the conquering nation. But in the midst of the invasion of Yugoslavia, Italy was a factor in the war, and they provided units, and of course their navy, which would have been stationed here in the Adriatic, fought against the Yugoslav navy. Now, what happened in real life and what happens in this expansion is that if Belgrade is captured in one round, then the Yugoslav navy basically gets to roll, and they'll either go to the Allies, and then if they get join the Axis role, instead of joining the conquering player of Germany, they're going to join the Italian navy, because based on treaties that the leader of Italy wanted, Mussolini, he wanted to basically have the Yugoslav navy turned over to him. That's what the treaty entailed. So basically, once Yugoslavia has been captured and their navy is still intact, no Germans have come in and destroyed them, and their navy has a chance of joining the Italians. So we'll just pretend that this got rolled for, and we will replace it with an Italian torpedo boat destroyer. So basically now this is done, and Yugoslavia has completely fallen to the Axis. So what's going to happen now is basically kind of straightforward with the standard rules of this expansion set, which is a Chetnik marker will be placed in Serbia, and an SS mountain divisions will be placed in one in Slovenia, one in Croatia, or not Croatia, Serbia, and one in Albania, and these guys will just be represented by your average infantry. And basically these are just when a German unit is SS, just means that it has a +1 attack and defense. So these guys would be +1 attack and defense mountain infantry, so they're pretty powerful units. So as you can see, the Axis have a really strong grip here in Yugoslavia now. Like, even if they had less units that took it over, so maybe they have like an infantry left instead of these tanks, they've got a lot of units gained from this invasion. Now, how the rules balance this is that these Yugoslav partisans are placed in all the former Yugoslavian territories, and there isn't a ton of space, so I'll just kind of place this one here, representing in Slovenia, this one in Croatia, and this one in Serbia. Now, ton of stuff on the board, so let's break down what's going on. So basically, the German soldiers, the SS Mountain Divisions, the Croatian army, it's non-combat, and they can all move now and do what they like. But we have a few other things that have happened now. First off, the Chetniks. Who were they? They were basically Serbs, ethnic Serbs, that were basically just, they weren't exactly wanting to fight for the Axis, but they were against communist forces, which are represented by these partisans, which would have been led by Joseph Tito. And so basically the Chetniks, what they do is they represent an infantry, just a standard infantry. They can't move out of Serbia, and they can only be used to attack partisans in the territory. And yeah, they're just under control of Germany. So basically they sit there and Germany rolls for them when you want to attack a partisan unit. As for the partisans, I'm not going to go super in depth because if you want to read up on the partisan rules, you can, but this isn't really explaining them in all that great detail. But basically, the partisans represent communist forces that kind of want to kick out the Germans and establish a communist rule over Yugoslavia. So basically what these guys do is every round, at the end of Russia's round turn, they get to make a roll, and if they, for each of these 3 territories here, and if they roll a 12 for one of them, they get to place another partisan down. Basically 2 partisans basically a partisan has no attack value, so they just sit there, they're ignored for all purposes. But you cannot trace a supply path, so no rail movement through those if a partisan is in there, an enemy partisan. And only infantry units can attack them. And basically, partisans can fade away from combat, and they only have a defensive roll of 1, so they're not great. But a special thing is that if 2 partisans pop up in a territory, they can join together into a militia and try to attack that territory and take it over, or the territory could just automatically go to them if they become a militia and nothing's there. But yeah, overall, I really like this expansion that Historical Board Gaming made, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this quick little look at my addition to the game, and basically how you can use this even more throughout the game, and kind of like add some more action. You can see, like, I mean, with the more territories, and a little more in-depth, where you might want Italy coming in from here and attacking Serbia, and Germany coming on. But yeah, I really like this expansion set, and I really like my little addition to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps kind of support the channel, and kind of lets me know that you guys are watching these videos and enjoy them too. So I hope to see you guys again. Cobra out.